I love you, Allah. The day I am born is the day I first hear of you. Allahu Akbar. Your name is the first thing to enter my ear. I am too young to comprehend it, of course, but you have just been assigned to me for the rest of my life. I'm getting used to hearing your name. It's embedded in human names, in my language, in the call to prayer I hear every single day.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
You are a building block in the foundations of my life. In family, meaning, purpose, and even wonder, you were real to me even before I became aware of what reality was. There was no reason to doubt your existence. I wouldn't doubt it any more than I would doubt my mother when she warned me about the hot stove. In fact, it is my mother and my father who first taught me about you. I suppose I'm letting you borrow some of their goodwill because I trust you the way that I trust my parents. I love my parents. Therefore, I love you, Allah. In some ways, you are the hot stovetop. You could burn me if I don't act right around you, or you could provide me with my mother's delicious food. So I guess it isn't all bad. I just have to know how to act around you. I have to learn your particular likes and dislikes, all the while I navigate my formative years. Please help me do that. Forgetting about you and your somewhat overbearing rules makes me feel so much shame, guilt, and fear. After all, I have reached that critical point in my development where my reproductive organs started doing their thing, which apparently means I am now eligible for hell. No longer do I have the innocence of a child. I am now subject to the full extent of your wrath. I better not lose focus of you and hell, or I might end up in it. Can you see why you are always a consideration in my life? Always a priority? I mean, how could I ignore the sole purpose of my existence? You made it perfectly clear that you wield a lot of burning power and that you're not afraid to use it. You've been very descriptive about your torture methods, making them clearer than a lot of other arbitrary rules of yours. Yet, I try to ignore all that because I still love you. Or do I? Do I love you, or are you just a necessary prerequisite in my understanding of the world? Maybe that wouldn't be the case had I been born somewhere else. Of course, I don't know that yet. So, did I truly love you, or was I forced to try to love you? What is love? Love is hard to define, I know that much. I love my family. I love the stray cat I feed and befriend. I loved running. I love food. But if any of those things continuously hurt me, physically or emotionally, the love I have for them should be reassessed. Had my family been abusive, I would have had a hard time loving them. Had the stray cat attacked me every time I fed it, I probably would have kept feeding it. However, I might not love it. When running hurt my knee eventually, I stopped loving it. You get the point. You, however, you are akin to a good teacher who nonetheless shouts in class every single day. No matter how great of a teacher you are, no matter how much you favor me, the mere mention of you stresses me out. Your recurring anger and threats confuse me. I thought anger issues were not a good thing. How could a perfect teacher have anger issues? I suppose it's one of those things that my young, limited mind can't yet grasp. Maybe someday. You constantly threaten the class with everything you've done to other classes before us, yet everyone around me seems to love you. And I still love you. What other choice do I have? Please, please help me love you. My curiosity about the world keeps growing. I ask a lot of questions since I am very inquisitive about how everything works, and you are always at the center of it. Even when you seemingly have nothing to do with an explanation, you are shoehorned in as the initiator of everything. It is very self-evident at this stage of my life. You are the reason natural disasters happen, and the reason they don't. You are the reason my country is lagging behind. I'm told it's because my people are being tested. You are the reason some children are born with horrible defects or suffer through a debilitating disease, like cancer. I'm told it's to test their parents. You are the reason people are cured of cancer. Chemotherapy works, but only because you let it. You are the reason birds migrate in the winter, lifting them up in the air, guiding them. Of course, I eventually learned that they use the Earth's magnetic field to guide themselves, and they're lifted up in the air by the pressure difference between regions of their wings. You didn't tell me any of that, but I'll let you take credit for it anyway. The alternative is disbelief in hellfire, and teenage me is not ready for that yet. I don't know if you love me, but you clearly do love your hell. That's right, your hell. You engineered it, and judging by how much you boast about it, you seem proud of that. You made it knowing exactly who's going to suffer in it for you and your followers' enjoyment, as per your own admission. Some of the residents of hell were enemies of your beloved prophet. Some were awful people who meant to harm others. But the majority simply didn't believe in you, at least not in the way that you wanted. That puzzles me. It terrifies me. I'm thinking that I must try to save as many of those people as I can from your hell, because you did a lousy job proving your existence, because you already sealed their fate, knowing exactly where they'd be born and what they'll believe, knowing every single thought they'll ever have and why they had it. This is getting confusing. I hope you don't punish me for my thought crimes. I can't control them. Please help me control them. Help me get rid of the so-called devils that are making me have these thoughts. I'm broken. I'm broken because I can't understand you. I presumed you'd never lie to me, but lie you did. I'm meeting your so-called haters and enemies, most of whom don't really care for your Arabic image. You are to them what the Hindu gods are to me, utterly nonsensical and irrelevant. They do not hate you because you do not exist in their world. They do not love you because you do not exist in their world. The disbelievers, polytheists, secularists, and homosexuals aren't trying to get a rise out of you. You are simply out of the picture. And who's to blame for that? I thought it was my fault, or the fault of the Ummah for not spreading Islam like you told us to. But it's starting to dawn on me. Why am I running your errands for you? Especially when the stakes are this high. Why is it the job of imperfect humans to convince other imperfect humans of this wild story of yours? All the while, you're nowhere to be found, except in every gap in our primitive knowledge. The least you could have done is leave me an airtight religion. I used to think Islam was bulletproof till I realized that I've been trying to plug the holes myself this whole time. I am tired of doing the math, only to realize that you're coming up short, and I'm supposed to pretend that I don't notice. I am tired of trying to love a hypothetical entity that thrives off of my desperation, attention, and fear. I am tired of trying to love a narcissist, an arsonist with a torch in his hand ready to drop it on my house whenever he decides to, if he decides to. I am so damn tired of trying to find the most elusive man in the universe so I can begin to understand his convoluted ways. Maybe you're the one who's trapped in hell. You've inflicted so much harm because of this little play of yours. I don't think I could top that in a lifetime. If I'm going to hell, I suppose I'll see you there. You don't scare me anymore, Allah. You're a flawed and deeply troubled character, but that checks out. You're just a figment of man's imagination. I do not love you, Allah, and frankly, I don't understand how anyone could. Sincerely, your ex-slave.